हेलो, गुड मॉर्निंग, गुड इवनिंग, नमस्ते, सत श्री अकाल, सलाम अलैकुम। मैं हूं गौरव दयाल बीट फैक्ट्री से। और आज मैं अपना शायद वन ऑफ द बेस्ट और मोस्ट इंटरेस्टिंग ट्यूटोरियल एंड समथिंग विच इज़ वेरी क्लोज टू माई हार्ट आपको दिखाना चाहता हूँ। सो आई थिंक आपने मेरी काफ़ी दूसरी साइड्स देखी हैं, डांस म्यूज़िक एंड 80s सिंथ म्यूज़िक एंड ऑल दैट। लेकिन मेरा कीन इंटरेस्ट हमेशा चाइल्डहुड से ऑर्केस्ट्रल म्यूज़िक में और फिल्म म्यूज़िक में एंड स्कोरिंग म्यूज़िक में काफ़ी रहा। एंड मैं काफ़ी साल ऑब्वियसली सुनते रहा, अब्जॉर्ब करता रहा। बट मुझे काफ़ी इतनी बार चांस नहीं मिला टू एक्सप्लोर दिस। फॉर सम टाइम व्हेन आई वाज डूइंग सम फिल्म्स इन बॉम्बे, आई डिड स्कोर 2 फिल्म्स कम्प्लीटली। आपको शायद इस बारे में नहीं पता होगा, मैं उनका नाम भी नहीं बताऊंगा बिकॉज देन यूल गो एंड लुक फॉर देम एंड दे वर नॉट रियली सक्सेसफुल। बट आई डिड गेट एक्सपीरियंस एंड उससे मुझे कॉन्फिडेंस आया कि I can attempt this and I can do it. So आज की डेट में like that there are some fantastic realistic libraries to work with and create your parts. So अब इसमें दो अप्रोच हैं. There are some people, I mean not that it's a bad thing, they will use already pre-recorded phrases जो पहली बजी हुई होती हैं. So I'm definitely not from that school because I can write music, I can compose music and I can write parts, and that is where the fun is really for me. So this is not that type of approach which is loop or phrase based. So ye approach where I write every part, whether it's from ostinatos to complete arpeggiations to complete phrases and parts. So I write them myself, I perform them myself because उसमें एक अलग टाइप का मजा है. दूसरा ये भी है कि you can control. If you're writing a string run, if you're writing anything, you can control everything the way you want to and even express it as you want exactly. Especially film में where timing is everything. So film में when you have a picture in front of you and आप कुछ express कर रहे हैं, तो ये important होता है कि you have control over every element that you're putting there because it can make or break a scene and it's that serious. But anyway, पहले मैं आपको एक small kind of action suspense opening sequence cue सुनाना चाहता हूँ. So this is called an orchestral cue. And फिर हम सारे elements देखेंगे, family of sounds देखेंगे. So there are about 13 tracks of performances on this. And we will see all the elements. But first I just want to play you the cue. So just listen to the cue first. I hope you enjoyed that cue. Especially, please do not listen to this cue on your laptop speakers. Please use headphones or big speakers. अगर आपके पास studio speakers हैं या home theater system or something, I really would appreciate it if you can listen to it on this, because this is not dance music. I'm not trying to show sound engineering. I'm trying to show how dynamic a track can be and how many elements can stick out and affect you and hit you and make you feel a certain way. So I hope you got the suspense and adventure action opening sequence feeling, because that was the intention. Again, this track is made up of string section. Okay, so string section jo hai wo purple bluish mein covered hai. We will see all these separate elements. Then there's a percussion section which is an orange, red, brown, which you see. And then there's a brass brass section here. Okay, the first part jo hai wo basically are first and second violins. So why are they called first and second violins? इन सब चीज़ों के बारे में हम डिटेल में एक और वीडियो में बात करेंगे. But I'm using specifically the East West Hollywood Strings Gold Library. तो इसमें I'm using the first violins which are spiccato marcato modulation. That means it goes from very short note spiccato to slightly longer notes which is marcato. But these have very strong attack. So they are very sharp short notes. तो आप सुन सकते हैं first and second position. You can listen to the parts that I compose. So this is one part, then the other part you can hear is on the other side, which is. So as you can see, the short notes. But as I'm playing, it is sounding, the way jitna main long usko hold karta hu. I can even use the mod wheel. So I can write all these parts and perform them and have this. So yeah, there are basically two parts of this. Jaise maine bataya, there's the first violin and second violins. This is because of their placement in the concert hall. That is why they're called like that. And there's a reason for that. We'll talk about that. Uske baad then we come to this part. Okay, so let's look at what this is really. So this part is the basses. So the large big bass that you see, which is again bowed. This is not a played bass with fingers, but in this case it can be played with fingers or plucked, but in this case it is bowed. And again, this is a spiccato. Spiccato means, मैंने आपको बताया था, it's a articulation. The articulation is to play the notes very short and sharp, and the bow is up action and down action. So that's why you have this variation. And it's really low. Also, I've EQ'd it, so all of the concert noise and everything is coming up. Mainly, वो noise वगैरह बड़ा desired, all that orchestra sounds and the people's noises and things, because that's what makes it real for me. Otherwise, it would be too clean and not believable. So, इस case में counter line है which is playing. Now you can listen to this particular string part. So as my chords are changing, as my melody is changing, the bass is obviously, I've performed it to follow that. So iska bhi concept hai how I've created this melody, because it starts in A minor and then moves around and comes back to A minor. So usme we go basically, where we start from, we go 3 half steps down every time and performing the same phrase. So it's creating a cycle of melody, but the melody is around the same thing. It's slight variation, not too different, because you want to keep hold of the listener or the audience and not distract them. It's an underscore. Again, then we have another part which is a so as you can hear, it's a legato line. But let's see what the element here is. It's basically second violins sustained. Sustained means long violins, which are not short and sharp. So these violins are long and they can be played, and these are connected lines. So you cannot play chords on these kind of patches. Okay, in this case you can, because sustained, it's not a legato, but I'm playing it legato style, which is there aren't any chords and every note is connected to the next. So again, in string section, we have in a later part, we have a quick section. You can. Sorry, it's not the quick section. Let me just show you what this is. So it's playing counter to the rhythm, and this is again, it's a spiccato violas. So in the same family of strings after violins, and a low register is the violas. And let's listen how they play to counter to the lines above. Basically, ये क्या कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे is they're adding a counter rhythm to the trumpet, which is now playing what earlier the violins were playing. So if I switch on the trumpet. See, now you see the reason why they exist. Just to emphasize the lines after some time. So when you want to emphasize a melody or counter melody or a feeling, you use different sections of the family of orchestra. Lekin why I like this particularly is because I limit myself to an orchestra. Orchestra is very huge, but I'm still just working with a family of brass or woodwinds. But there are no woodwinds in this case. Okay, then let's see what this section is. Okay. So again, it's a spiccato kind of viola part. Am I right? Yep. These are violas and they're spiccato, but I'm playing them really fast, so. Again, I'm not playing it correctly because I'm also doing the video, but later I edit it and make it like perfect. But I fulfill the idea in my head. तो मुझे जो rhythm चाहिए थी, it works here now. If you listen to this against some of the other elements, लेकिन सारे elements में नहीं खोलूँगा ताकि you can hear it clearly. It's a nice motion, but as you can see very clearly that I do create some human feel also. So ज़रूरी नहीं कि it's completely quantized. After playing it and quantizing it, मैं थोड़े elements move भी करता हूँ ताकि it has a little human feel to it, which is possible. So since it's possible, I want to give my client the most realism that I can, or closest to what the final orchestra will sound like. In some cases, there are no budgets, so this has to be the final orchestra. And if that is the case, then I better make sure that everything is as good as it can get in the virtual world. Right, so this covers the entire string section. Then we come to rhythm and percussion, which is very simple. These are wood blocks, very simple. It's part of orchestral percussion entourage. Let's see what else is there. So obviously there's a snare there. There is a big kick drum, boom, tom kind of thing. And there's a snare roll thing happening. So I just wanted a simple rhythm. I didn't want, in this case, the rhythm to, overtake the music. That's just the simple instance. There's the cymbals there, and that's pretty much it. So we won't go so deep into that. In this case, I think it's just some extra cymbal or something. Sorry, that's like a triangle. So that exists. Then we come to the brass section. Brass section mein, we have a part here. These are short brass parts. Let me play the main part which comes to the legato French horn, I think. Yep. It's a 6 French horn section, legato with slur. Slur is a kind of expression. So let's see what happens. So the brass opens up, and now this I control with the mod wheel. As you can hear, it's very expressive, but I've put tons of reverb in it because it needs to be hidden yet be in front. So the level brings it in front, but lots of reverb gives it space and a feeling of bigness. So that's the idea. Although I've not worked too hard on mixing this because that is not my challenge for this type of track. My challenge is to write decent music, hopefully. Okay. These are what? Of course, trumpets. So this is again part of the brass section. So these are 3 trumpets staccato. Okay. And again, they're playing what the parts, the violin parts were playing earlier. So it just replaces the violin as the violin goes out. So this gives the track variation. Again, there's another trumpet bursts which I've put in. So bursts kya karte hain? They off and on come off and cut through the track on a single note. So that's what this part of the section is doing. So again, it's a short video. I hope you enjoyed. I'll play this music for you once more. I've just put a little bit of EQ on the tracks and some multiband just to control it a little bit, but not too much, because orchestral music should be dynamic. So this is just to show you that this can be done virtually inside the box using one computer and a fast drive. Again, thank you for watching, and I hope आपको मजा आया. This was something different and not the typical thing that you might be expecting. So another thing to open a window of your mind to other kinds of music, other careers in the music industry. This for sure is very hard to do comparatively for somebody who has no musical knowledge. Lekin today, because of the virtual orchestra, it's not necessary that you know how to learn, to know how to read and write. Agar aapko pata hai what you're doing and you know how to write parts for orchestra, you can actually access virtual instruments and make your dream come true. So again, this is Gaurav signing out, and thank you again for watching and for all your amazing support. Beatfactory is open to educating you. So if you have any questions about how to join Beatfactory in Delhi or in Mumbai, then you can call our numbers on our website on www.beatfactory.in or write to our Facebook page, and our staff will be very happy to guide you through our courses. And if there's anything that you wish to ask them, please do so. They'll be very happy to answer and help. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time.